NCAA Women's Swimming Championships was this past weekend. And of course, the entire nation knew that Leah Thomas, the transgender swimmer, won the NCAA championship title in the 500 free, defeated biological women and won. And there was actually a girl who got 17th place, meaning in swim championships, you qualify from prelims to finals. There's finals, final heat, and then there's a consolation final. So it's, the 1st through 8th, and then there's 9th through 16th. So if you get 17th place in prelims, you do not qualify to move on to finals. There was a girl who got 17th place. It was her senior year. She missed making it to finals, which is heartbreaking no matter your sport, heartbreaking no matter the year. But she missed 17th place because Leah Thomas qualified first. She missed making the finals because Leah Thomas stole that spot from her. So Leah Thomas is actively stealing opportunity, achievement, accomplishment, and records from biological women. And this girl who got 17th, she's a Hungarian swimmer. She actually spoke out and said, NCAA, this is unfair. This is, you should change this. Now, this girl did not go as far as I would have gone, because this girl said, she supports Leah Thomas and, doesn't want to be hateful and blah, blah, blah. So she's accepting the premise of the left while sort of contradicting the implications of the premise of the left. And I don't think you can have it both ways. You can't accept the premise of the left and also contradict the implications. You have to just contradict the premise of the left or debunk the premise of the left because it's not built on anything. So we're seeing this on Twitter, and we're seeing this play out in our news media. And I thought to myself, where are the dads? Because these swimmers, I encourage these young swimmers to boycott this meet, even to boycott a single race where Leah Thomas is in this particular heat. You hear, take your mark, beep, and don't dive in the pool. Don't do your start. Just stop and make your statement, because I understand. Let me interrupt myself. I understand why this is a scary thing to ask. This is a huge ask to put on these girls' shoulders. A huge ask. They're afraid. They're afraid of retaliation. They're afraid of the wokeness on their campus. They're afraid of being bullied by school administrators. They're afraid of being benched by their coach. They're afraid of losing their scholarship. They were afraid of not making the team, not making NCAAs. They were afraid of being penalized. They're afraid even of the repercussions after college. If their name is Googled when in a job application, is a potential employer going to disqualify them from a position based on the fact that they spoke out against the transgender agenda? They spoke out against Leah Thomas. Maybe they boycotted a meet. I understand all of this. I understand it's a huge burden to be putting on the shoulders of these young women. I just don't know how else we can solve this problem, how else we can stop this transgender train. Because if we don't draw a line in the sand and say, we're not going to allow Leah Thomas, born a biological male, from stealing this achievement and accomplishment from these young women, then the next Olympic Games, what are we going to have? A bunch of biological males who have rendered female athletes completely obsolete, these mediocre biological male athletes who then dominate female competitions. Once it happens, it's much more difficult to roll back than stopping it before it starts. And so I encouraged all these young women, do something. Very, very few people are able to look at their lives and say, you know what? I had a unique calling, a unique chance for my particular action to change the course of history. It is a calling when that happens to you. And it requires a sacrifice that's not easy. Of course, being at a pivotal moment of history and making a difficult decision requires sacrifice. But very few people are called to do that. And so I encourage these girls, dig deep. You know what it's like to dig deep. You're an athlete. You're a collegiate athlete. Dig deep and do this. But more importantly, I thought, where are the dads of these girls? Where are the fathers of these young women? How can they let their little girl, their daughter, be decimated by a biological man? How can they look at their little girl who's worked her entire swimming career to get to this point, and how can they just let this happen without speaking up, without speaking out? Where are the dads here? Where are the dads here?